we have just read Grandmaster Sotaesan's words on attachment. First, attachment. Attachment is the cause of all kinds of sufferings, attachment. So, attachment of, say, what you have, like wealth, your fame, and even your relatives. If you have a too strong an attachment, that is the cause of all the sufferings. How about loved ones? How can you detach yourself from your loved ones? So there's a big question whether this detachment is a good teaching. But you know, if you are too much attached to your loved one, especially young people, that's the cause of all kinds of troubles. You know that. Because attachment is not real love. From attachment, too much attachment, jealousy arises. If your lover behaves a little strange, then you create all kinds of agonies, jealousy, and so on. It's because of the attachment. So attachment is no good. That doesn't mean you simply forget about your duty as a father, mother, husband, and wife, and a daughter, and a citizen. There are things you have to do it, but with the spirit of detachment. That way you can achieve your aim much better than doing with too much of an attachment. If you're attached, you are slaves, enslaved to what you do. You are not free. You are stuck to it, and no good. So detachment is an important part of the Buddhist teaching. And if you have too much attachment to what you have, what you love, and also hatred is some kind of negative attachment that also causes troubles. And since human beings, no one lives forever, everybody, remember last time we were talking, why does the baby cry? Because, oh, I've come to die. As soon as the baby is born, then the baby runs toward it's in a tomb. What a horrible thing, you know. Oh, as soon as, you know. So nobody lives forever. There are millions of people suffering from incurable diseases and so on. However, those people who are not so wise, they think they are going to live in this world forever. And that belongs to what is called one of the two barriers. The Buddha attained enlightenment by removing the barrier of the known. And the other one, the Buddha attained nirvana by removing the barrier of passion. There are two things. By removing the barrier of the known, he attained enlightenment. And by removing the barrier of the passion, he attained the nirvana. Very important. Of course, this is the teaching from one of the Buddhist schools, Dharma Laksana school. And what is the barrier of the known regarding the seeming as real? Can you remember? Clara, what is the barrier of the known? You know the barrier, like a blocking? Barrier of the known regarding the seeming as real. Like the mirage, if you see it, if you regard it as water, you have the barrier of the known. In human relations, human life, people make a lot of mistakes. A lot of mistakes because they regard what seems to be so It's not really so. So it's a misunderstanding, illusions and delusions. So regarding the seeming as real is the cause of all the troubles. And what did the Buddha mean? The most important thing was this: the world looks real, everything having its own ultimate reality, and that is a delusion. If you regard those things in the world as real, your money, your power, even your body as real, then that is a barrier of the known. Nothing in space and time has its own reality. Everything comes to being depending on the law of what is called dependent origination. If you have a sheet of paper, which I used many times, as a Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh said, when I see this sheet of paper, I see clouds passing. How so? The paper comes from a tree, and the tree grows on the earth, taking water, among other things. Where does the water come? From the clouds. And so without clouds, we'll be all dead. So when I see a sheet of paper, I see the passing clouds. Nothing has its own reality. So paper is borrowed for its own existence from many other things. Among them is from the clouds. What about our body? Our body comes from the four grades: earth, water, air, and the fire. You know, when I'm conceived by my parents, it's a zygote, invisible, right? And it somehow grows, borrowing all the nutrients and so on, and it grows slowly, right? And when it grows really old, then it returns to the four grades, and that's life. Life is short, you know, as someone said. Art is long, but life is short. We have an illusion that is also delusion. Life looks long, but life is very short, very short. And also there's a law of karma, such that according to the Buddha's teaching, when you are on this earth and live, you create karma. If you create unwholesome karma, then your next life is not going to be a happy one. Just as in Christianity, there's like a dogma that there's a omniscient and omnipotent, omnipresent God. In Buddhism, we believe, and there's a dogma, actually, that is the cycle of birth and rebirth. So when one dies, that's not the end of the story. Somehow one will be born again, depending on the karma. So it's very important, while one is on this earth, one lives with no attachment. If you're attached, especially when someone dies with attachment, that is no good. If you're attached to certain things in your home, and then if you die, and if you don't find rightful mother, new mother, then you'll be born as one of the, even an insect or even mouse and so on. That's why it's so important that, especially when one dies, one should be free from attachment. One should go with no attachment whatsoever.